What's up y'all, welcome to my channel JJ Givers that is solely dedicated to Jujutsu Kaisen anime and manga fans. Of course we'll have here latest manga chapter updates, reviews and analysis. So guys, as we know that it was a break this week and we had the whole 2 weeks of eternity to wait for chapter 262 to drop. But guess what, chapter only includes 7 panels. It's a pretty short chapter and also comes with the bad news because this week manga is going on 2 weeks break. That means technically we have to wait for 3 weeks until the next chapter 263 drop. Well, this happened because the writer Geki Akutami has fallen sick. We pray for his speedy recovery, man. Get well soon. He has a lot of other things to do with this week because he has to draw the drawing for Weekly Shonen Jump cover, volume 27 cover, colored panel for 262, yet manages to give us this chapter shorter but holds a lot of information. So let's just jump straight into it. The chapter begins with Sukuna and Yuta opening the domain, and Yuta successfully manages to reduce the size of Unlimited World's barrier to the size of tiny basketball like Gojo did. Narrator says that the solution Gojo created for Sukuna's open barrier domain is make a smaller barrier domain which can withstand with the effect of Malevolent Shrine for approximately 3 minutes. Well, here we can recall this to chapter 227 when Gojo was able to change his domain barrier's condition, because typically it's the inside barrier is more stronger than the outside one, but in the domain battle when Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine was able to break his barrier from the outside all the time, so he reversed the conditions and made the outside barrier more stronger than the inside to sustain the Malevolent Shrine. In order to do that, he made the barrier super tiny, and that's exactly what Yuta did here. Yuta says that taking Sukuna's fatigue into the consideration, it's possible for me to withstand his domain for 3 minutes just like Gojo-sensei. But guess what the narrator says about Sukuna-sama? Sukuna has reduced effective curse technique range to just surround Yuta's barrier and eliminate Malevolent Shrine's 99-second time limit. So what he's trying to say here is that Sukuna-sama, in return to counterattack Yuta's outer stronger barrier, he also changed his domain condition by lifting that binding bow that he made in Shinjuku earlier when expanding his domain. We were told at Shinjuku Point that Sukuna couldn't open his domain just because he got hit by Unlimited Void. But after landing Black Flashes, he also opened a route in some part of his brain back to opening his domain. But he couldn't still open it to the fullest or effectively just because of the low curse technique output, because our boy Yuji landed 8 Black Flashes on him. So in order to meet the condition, he put a binding vow on himself that he will enhance the effective range of his curse technique as much as can to cover the whole Shinjuku during his domain so that all the sorcerers are killed at once. But in return, 99-second time limit was imposed to his domain. But now that he has reduced the effective range just around Yuta's barrier, so the 99-second time limit is also up. That means that now he can just open his domain as long as he wants. This man. We also came to know this cooler information in this panel where Yuta says that he actually swapped soul with Gojo for training and he enhanced his barrier technique too. It's a kind of bittersweet addition to this because we refer back to this panel 261 where Yuta asks his permission to Gojo that he will take over his body if he dies, and Gojo's answer with this sassiness as always that you could do whatever with that, but I have no intent to lose. And then he also trains him. I think that Gojo was pretty confident that he wouldn't lose to Sukuna, but at some corner of his mind, he also knew the vulnerability of the situation and he knew that it wouldn't be easy to take down Sukuna. So if he did lose to him, then what about his students? So he wanted them to be stronger enough. And also the other decision he made by killing all the higher-ups so that his students don't suffer like post-Shibuya. You know, it's a kind of thing that whenever it comes to his students, he is always there to support them and be there for them. What a great sensei. But now, back to the current fight, where Yuta and Sukuna both are having monologue. Yuta says here that I will give enough damage to Sukuna in these 3 minutes so that he can maintain Malevolent Shrine. Here, Yuta takes into account that Sukuna is fatigued, tired, and exhausted as he also lost a lot of things along the way, with having both his hands cut, stabbed hard, Yuji having this, marathon of black flashing hitting him, no Maharaga to adapt this time, and also probably not able to use word cutting slash. He would be able to take him down in 3 minutes. But on the other hand, Sukuna, with having this maniac face, says that he will finish Yuta right here, as he doesn't need 3 minutes this time to break the barrier, as he has focused and reduced all his effective range curse technique just around Yuta's barrier to destroy it from the outside. So probably he would be able to destroy it pretty much earlier than 3 minutes, and he says that after destroying it, he will again enhances his effective range curse technique, and then this time he will slaughter all of the sorcerers once for all. After that, Yuta tries to pull Sukuna using blue, aka Azure, but Sukuna suddenly reduces the distance. Sukuna wraps his amputated arm to hold Yuta and land a punch on his face. Yuta, being in complete surprise at how Sukuna was able to bypass Infinity and land an attack on him, but then realizing that Sukuna was actually simultaneously using domain amplification with domain expansion. Sukuna has an evil grin on his face as he thinks that the sorcerer can share the information about what's happening inside the domain through Mei crows. While here Sukuna is actually referring back to the battle between him and actual Gojo when both of them were trapped in the domain barrier, and Mei's crows weren't able to penetrate into the barrier. So the other sorcerer weren't aware of any bit of it, that what is happening actually in that domain. That's why Yuta was also surprised by this move of him using domain amplification alongside with domain expansion. But here kinda contradiction and debate appears that wouldn't Yuta would have access to Gojo's memory just like Kenjaku has access to Geto's memory after body swap. So then according to that, Yuta should have known that what happened in that domain battle. But here I will just give a benefit of doubt and edge to our boy Yuta, because we know that technically he had only 5 minutes to do and process all this, and he must have probably teleported into the battlefield just after performing this body swap ritual. So yeah, he need this time to process this and dig deeper into Gojo's memory. So let's just trust him here. And also I don't think that Gege would leave this as a plot hole here, as he gives reason every time he do something. Honestly, watching Yuta to go this far and shed off his humanity just to fight Sukuna and protect his loved ones and friends at this point is kind of commendable and adding more respect to his character, because we know that he took it as a second chance as he was devastated in his previous body. Now he also doesn't know that what will happen after 5 minutes. Refer back to the panel where Gojo visits him in Africa and asks him to take care of second years and first years if something happens to him for Shibuya incident. So yeah, he is also trying to fulfill that promise. Well, we do know that he was surprised and kind of miscalculated at some points, but also he had just a pretty short period of time to process all this. And of course, he cannot be Gojo the way he was. He will add his contribution to the fight, but I don't think that he will be able to finish Sukuna, because he cannot beat Sukuna in his own game, right? By becoming monster just like him. And we know that Yuta won't be able to shed off all his humanity just like Sukuna did, as he is pretty unfazed and unbothered by anything happens. So here Itadori Yuji comes, who will beat Sukuna, who will be the one to finish him off in the end by his ideals. He will beat him by enduring humanity, not shedding it off. So Yuji will shine, and we haven't seen his domain expansion yet, and definitely we are getting it. And also he will save his best friend Megumi. More power to him. And then the panel switches to a very hurtful scene where Rika is holding dearly Yuta's lifeless body and crying. And with that, editor's note comes here that Rika is fully manifested here, however. Tragic. But one thing we came to know here is that Yuta's body is all stitched up back thanks to Shoko being useful here. So there are now chances that he could swap back to his body. Who knows? Also, we came to know that Rika isn't assisting Yuta there in Gojo's body alongside to fight him against Sukuna, but she is staying here so she could assist him in and help him while he swapped back to his body. Well, there are a lot of possibilities now regarding Yuta's fate, but we have a long way to go to wait for chapter 263. So guys, in the end, like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed it, and thanks a lot for watching until I came up with another analysis.